If World War III started, would anybody care? It's kind of like saying if a tree fell in the forest and nobody was there to hear it, did it make a sound? We always heard in the last 50 years that World War III wouldn't be like other wars. Sure, it'd have some nuclear weapons towards the end of it that were being used, but it would start as electronic warfare. It would start as chemical warfare. It would start as revolutions and culture war. In the last few decades, it became clear that major governments across the planet, from China to the United States, were implanting computer chips that were in everyday items like washing machines and dishwashers and refrigerators and alarm clocks, to be able to then basically remote control into them and control what was happening in your home, or hijack those devices and use them to hack other devices. And now, as we sit here, in the last few days of 2016, in the waning twilight of this incredibly epic year, Drudge Report, for the first time in his 22 years, Matt Drudge is, we're under attack. It looks like U.S. government. It's the biggest DDoS attack we've ever seen, just like we got hit with 2 weeks ago. And they're still under. And Obama said we're going to have cyber attacks. We're going to kick the Russian ambassadors out. We're going to have all sorts of other conflict. And we're going to attack media associated with Russia, like InfoWars, Drudge, and Breitbart. That bill was signed into law last Friday by President Obama. I got to hand it to him. At least they passed laws to do it. Kind of like under Clinton in 1998, Larry Summers and others got a bill bipartisanly passed by both parties that said we can create unlimited fake counterfeit money. We can sell the same mortgage 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, 40 times, sometimes over 100 times. Say a $500,000 house. They could sell that to 100 different banks with thousands of different investors per bank and just rip everyone off. They made it legal. It's like, hey, let's make child molestation legal. This is what they did. And now I sit here with family on both sides of the Mayflower and family in every major war and founders of Texas. And I sit here and hear on the news I'm a Russian agent because I don't want to turn my guns in, or I want Trump to be president and cut our taxes. Meanwhile, I watched Saudi Arabia and I watched communist China and all these foreign governments involved in our elections telling us we couldn't have Trump and bragging how much money they gave Hillary. And then America repudiates this ugly witch who's having seizures on TV, just like we repudiated Jeb Bush. And it's not our decision that repudiated her. It's because we're under Russian mind control. Oh no, I'm under Martian control. This is the crazy, whacked out crap we deal with. Russia can barely keep itself afloat. Russia is twice the size of the U.S. conservatively, has the GDP of Italy, and a population 3 times its size. It's a basket case. Communist China, on the other hand, has 1.4 billion people almost, and is buying up all of Hollywood, has 98% of rare earth minerals, the Panama Canal, all the major deepwater ports, is openly enslaved its own people. Won't even pay for public toilets, so everybody craps on the street, basically. 95% of the public. And they're going to land humans on the dark side of the moon, they're saying, within 5 years. Totally committed to domination and combining forces with the globalists, the big banks, to dominate the rest of the globe using cheap Chinese labor. And then I get to be told I'm a Russian agent. World War III has begun. And it's a war against sovereign nations. It's a war against independent people. But the good news is Italy 3 weeks ago voted to start moving out of the EU. I don't blame them. The EU came in and said, we want total control over your government and you can't vote to get out. And we want you to agree to us putting EU troops in your country. EU troop occupation. This is so naked. This is so crazy. This is so authoritarian. I can't believe how cut and dry it is, how clear cut it is. So there's 20 days, 21 days technically, a few hours be 20 days until Trump gets in. They're putting stay-behind networks in every agency. They are acting like a mechanized army. They are, whether you love Israel or hate Israel, they're trying to start a war in the Middle East and a new intifada, a new uprising, by saying Israel's illegitimate. I mean, this is crazy. They're raising interest rates to try to kill Trump euphoria and the economy. They cut them to 0 for 5-6 years, so big banks got free money. But now that Trump's got policies that will actually help the average person get wealthy, it's over. That's economic warfare. That's cyber warfare. That's GMO warfare. That is geoengineering warfare. That's full spectrum dominance, globalist manipulation. We are in World War III. This is what it looks like. Yeah. If you want to get technical, historians, even at the Army War College, call the Cold War World War III. A soft war, a Cold War. They call what we're now entering really World War IV, but nobody knows that, so I use the term World War III. This is cyber war. This is culture war. This is Soros, who came out in a big editorial today saying that Trump is a dictator who wants to be like Hitler. Do you understand the richness of that when Soros is an admitted famous Nazi collaborator from Hungary who rounded up tens of thousands of Jews and brought them to their death as a fellow Jew who knew where they were hiding? That'd be like Hitler overseeing a trial of some black guy who got indicted because he had a ham sandwich. There's an old saying, you can indict a ham sandwich. And Hitler's overseeing the trial of a black guy saying he's a Nazi. I mean, it's just cuckoo land, but they're doing it. Because humanity woke up to them, and they thought they were invincible. They thought they had us. They thought it was all over, and now they're crapping their pants. Drudge is saying he's under U.S. government attack. Our IT people said it was Chinese attack, but that's who's allied with them. And it is really bad. It is ongoing. It is sustained. But it shows how far we've come. It shows what we've done together. And it shows really how exciting the times are, because as negative as all this is, it's still incredibly positive. It's still incredibly positive that we've got a fighting chance here. The problem is with 21 days left, expelling Russian ambassadors at a level never before done, even in the Cold War. They're shutting down whole Russian embassy bases. And Russia's shutting down U.S. diplomats. This is the stuff that happens before big wars. And, you know, I have no allegiance to Russia. I've never been to Russia. And it's surreal to see traitors, globalists like Soros, that have hijacked our country, demonizing those of us that stand up for our country's sovereignty, and saying they want to have the CIA come after us because we stand up for our country. I'm not personally afraid by all this. I knew what I was getting into. But I'll tell you this, it shows how weak these people are. That I've been on air 21 years from Texas, 2 years of community college, but I am a historian, I'm a history buff, and we're kicking their ass. I mean, if I'm their arch nemesis and Matt Drudge is their arch nemesis, no wonder they're so scared of Stephen Bannon. We're just populists that want prosperity. We're not out to screw people over. We're not out to be dictators. We're so self-confident we just want to live our own lives. But World War III, World War IV, whatever you want to call it, has begun. Who can deny me on that? Who can deny me? I just feel like guilty if I go in and go to sleep and don't even make a big deal out of this. I guess I should be up all night battling this. But what's crazy is to watch the #1 internet search terms still be football. Sure, there's an awakening, but the top 10 searches are college football, high school football locally, NFL football, and these are all men worried about what a bunch of cokeheads and Kaepernicks do and all this crap while the real world's going on all around us. And we've gotten in this position. A lot of men want to blame women and feminism. That's just some globalist system. It's because men have stood down, men have basically laid down, men have basically groveled to the system and blame somebody else and become a bunch of children. This is crazy. I don't even know this cat. I'm out here. And some cat just came over and started rubbing up against me. I'm out here like at a park. Anyways, rubbing up against me. Everybody knows I'm sweet and good. It is just such an insane time to be alive. Look at this down here. It's my life story. I mean, don't even know this cat. What's going on here? Must know I'm a Russian agent. Anyways, history's happening now. I don't even feel worthy to be talking to you. Okay, I'm not up here as some grandstander that has all the answers. All I know is Trump wants lower taxes. He's delivering. He wants our factories back. He doesn't want to ban the name Christmas. He isn't anti-Christian. He's not anti-Israel. And the whole world's coming against us right now. And Drudge is under attack. We're under attack. Hillary attacks us by name. Obama attacks us by name. They're in the news saying, shut us down. I've played the clips on the show where MSNBC, CNN, you name it, says shut us down. Megyn Kelly airs clips of me talking about Hillary funding Syrian rebels to kill children and then claims that I'm saying Hillary personally is doing it. I mean, they're engaged in dirty tricks. They're just soulless people that have no decency and want to piss on everyone. I use that term a lot, piss on everybody. It's like an act of dominance. But I think we can beat them. I know we can beat them if you take action and spread these videos and spread these articles and stand up against this and realize, don't just take Drudge Report for granted. Don't take InfoWars for granted. These sites are under attack because we're good, decent, real media that aren't out to get the American people or anybody else. If you attack us, we'll attack you back. If you're out to get us, we'll fight back. But we have goodwill. And they can't compete with that. Our genuineness, our legitimacy, our authentic nature. The fact that we really are genuine and really do just want to have a better world. We're the classical liberals. That's why the fake liberals have to get rid of us, because they want the moral high ground. Infowars.com/show, free video feeds, nightly news, podcasts, free iPhone app, Droid app, all of it. They don't want that getting out. Infowars.com/show, Infowars.com/newsletter. Even if they shut down our website, we can send you videos, articles, stuff to spread, email, all the experts say, and I never used to even promote this. Should have forgot I'd have 50 million names. I've been doing this for 20 years. Started doing it the last year. We've only got a couple million. Still, it's great to be able to reach out to you, Infowars.com/newsletter. We got a big free speech initiative we're launching. Just join us tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central. This is an incredible time. If we recognize the history that's happening, if we're not in comas as this modern Pearl Harbor attack on free speech takes place, we can rally against it, point out it's a day of infamy by Soros and the globalists attempting to take our free speech. In fact, let me just say it now. In fact, it just hit me. When we were attacked by the Japanese 70 plus years ago, on December 7th, 1941, we had leaders that were able to point out what really happened, and so the public rallied, and our republic defeated that empire. And I'm not against the Japanese. The point was they started the war. And I know we cut off their fuel and stirred them up in China and the rest of it. The point was they were imperialist, they were expanding, they were definitely more at fault than we were. I've studied the situation. I'm not defending them dropping A-bombs on them. But imagine if we sat here and said, December 7th, 1941, a day that will live in infamy. Well, imagine if we said, December 28th, 2016, a day that will live in infamy, when free independent newspapers and online publications were suddenly and deliberately attacked by multinational criminal combines run by George Soros and the UN in an attempt to shut down and stifle free speech in America. And the American people began to rally against this tyranny and said, we will not have our free speech shut down in front of our eyes, because the only fear we have to fear, the only thing we should fear, is fear itself. I mean, again, this is all teleprompter free. I'm just going over the facts here. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. I mean, it's just mind-blowing. These criminals are so naked, and they count on the general public being blind. The only thing we have to fear is ignorance itself. The only thing we have to fear is fear of ourselves and not taking action. Because the enemy's coming for us, whether we lay down in the ditch and bend over to him and live on our knees, or whether we stand up. Oh, the cat's down there, some neighborhood cat. Sorry. Over here loving on me and I stepped on it. Whether we die on our knees or stand and fight on our feet. Because people always say, well, I'd rather die on my feet than die on my knees. You die on your knees, you live on your feet. There's an Alex Jones quote. You die on your knees, you live on your feet. Everything's the inverse of what they really say. Now, I'm sorry, cat. Come over here and I'll pet you wherever you're at.
I think it took off.
It ran off after I accidentally stepped on it. Some poor cat loving on me over here, and then I step on it, hisses at me, and runs off. It was in love with me until now. Everything is intent. I was not intentionally stepping on the cat. All right, let's get back to your house, Buckley. I'll say bye to your wife and get home. Infowars.com/show. The only fear we have... What's the quote?
The only thing we have to fear is
fear itself. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. This is just too epic. I can't even handle it anymore. That's my transmission. If you care, you do. If you care about it, I mean, even if you're a fake liberal and you, quote, hate us, don't you agree in a free press? But see, you kind of get like tribal and go, no, we're going to shut you down. We got beat by Trump. The answer's shutting you down. You're not part of the establishment. You're an idiot. If they were arresting Michael Moore, I'd be against it, even though I disagree with him. We all knew with the persecution of Dinesh D'Souza and the attack on the press, all this was coming. I'm signing off. I've run my course for the day. Infowars.com/show. Love you all. The only thing we have to fear is for itself.